So very few of us have access to the expensive geological equipment that do help us with analyze rock. So what you can do is you can still do polar optical mineralogy. Basically, if you just have two sunglass lenses, you've basically got a polarizer, a plain polarizer underneath, and then you just use nail polish to put some sand on a slide and put the other one. You can rotate one or the other, and you can use a 10 by 10 loop. But you can also do that with a microscope, and they only cost a few hundred as well. So if you're going to do anything in science, you've really got a microscope for chemistry, physics, geology, everything. So this is accessible. And so like thin layer rocks basically is what the optical mineralogy is all about. And it's sort of useful. I was wondering whether this is going to help me or not, and it sort of does, but it has to. You have to get back to a sort of an old art. If you look at these ancient journals, they looked at whole sand grains, and you can see here that the quartz is like rainbow coloured, and the feldspar is a blue brown. The zircon doesn't show up, and the rutile doesn't show up. And so we can talk about this a lot more, but just we can talk a lot more and grab more from optical mineralogy, but ultimately there will be some differences and some similarities to that. And so if you look at this slide here, you can't tell anything. So I managed to be able to guess a few things, especially zircons by some morphological structures, but I wasn't quite sure what the clear stuff was. And so if you go along, you're basically going to see all those multicolored sands. And because I know this is just white sand, it's actually the black bits of white sand on the beach. I know that it should be 98% quartz. The reason there's so much black stuff is because I actually shook a little bottle down to get all the black bits. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to see what that was. And so I know it's 98% quartz, and I can see the rainbow colors, and you can see the brown-blue transitions. And that's feldspar, potassium feldspar. Now, if I analyze this a lot more, especially as I turn it, when it extincts, what angle it extincts at, and the relief, which is how clear the edges are and all that sort of stuff, I can probably do even more and start determining what type of quartz it is and what type of feldspar it is as well. Now, this is the heavy mineral sand from North Stradbroke Island. There's definitely some other minerals here doing other things that I might analyze at another time, but right now you can clearly see the contaminating quartz. I did pan this down from a couple of kilos to just 100 grams or so, and you can clearly see the feldspar, and the zircons aren't doing anything. So just one more, you can see here. So instead of just having no idea and seeing a whole heap of clear stuff, now I can clearly tell the difference between the zircons, the quartz, and the feldspar, which leaves a couple more clear ones that I need to work out how to further analyze to work out what they are. And this is how cool it is. Have a look at this zircon. So you can see all the internal inclusions in there, but when you do the two polarizing lenses, the cross polarization on that, you can actually see that it's got a quartz inclusion. So that's quite cool. All right, and it's not completely useless for your rocks. Just grab edges or chips, and you can see you can work out what colors are. So you can work out that whatever that is, that one's a quartz, and this one's not the best one. I did find a better one, but I couldn't find it. Again, you can see the blue-brown, so you know that that color in that part of that rock is definitely potassium feldspar, based on that brown, red, blue-brown change. Okay, so very useful, yeah? Optical mineralogy is really useful to help you with your rocks, even if you don't have access to expensive equipment.